Alright, so we're back in the truck camper, and gonna go ahead and get another measurement here now that I've got the mattress out. And as soon as I figure out exactly where I want to have my stringers, I'm going to mark those just with pencil, and on this front end, and then up toward the headboard. Get those marked out with pencil, get my straight lines marked out, and you know, just kind of lay out with pencil how I want to put my stringers. Once I do that, get everything marked out, I'm going to go ahead and disassemble the bunk bed, and then I'll put those in here, lay them flat, just to again double check and make sure that I'm getting the right clearances and that everything's going to fit once the new bed top is actually put down. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get this piece of plywood cut to the width that the final width that I'm going with is 58 inches for the lift deck. Let's go ahead and get this cut. Alright, so here's all my side brace pieces of stringers, and I'll show you what I've decided to do, just to not waste, you know, space underneath that bed frame. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and draw this out for you so you can see what I've got planned. Okay, so to increase the amount of storage space under the bed platform, and to obviously decrease the amount of wasted space that I would be creating just by laying a platform over the existing Cabover platform, I'm going a little bit wider, so I'm going 58.5 inches for the deck, the new raised deck. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out, since I only need 24 inches width on one side for that bunk bed, the wider side of the bunk bed piece to slide in, and then on the other side that piece is only 18 inches wide, so I'm shifting the center rail over a little bit. So I've got on this far side over here, I've got about 18.5 or 19 inches of storage space to slide in that first panel, and then for the bunk bed, and then a 25-inch space to slide in that 24-inch panel on the bunk bed, that front panel on the bunk bed. So what I've decided to do is just build out as wide as I can go, and then on either side have storage boxes. So when you lift up the raised platform, you've got storage boxes underneath on either side, and then I'll still have the center rail going down the middle. So let me draw that out. All right, so this would be looking at the platform from the top. This is the headboard where the Cabover window is and where our heads would be when we're sleeping. This is 80 inches for the platform, and then 58.5 inches wide for the platform. And obviously they're going to be cut in almost half. So this would be about 4 feet here is where the hinge is going to go to lift it up. I'll finish drawing this out. So right in about here is where the boards would be separated, the platforms would be separated, and I would have a hinge. Okay, so here I'm showing my center brace that goes from, you know, the full length, the full 80 inches. And then these will be boxes built on the edges, on the far ends. This one is almost 9 inches wide, just a hair short of 9 inches wide, by the full 80 inches. So when you lift up the bed here, this will be a cubby, and then again over on this side, this one's a little bit narrower because again I had to shift this center brace over a little bit to accommodate that wider bunk that's going to fit in this area. The more narrow bunk side is going to fit into this area, and then I've got storage, a little cubby storage, which is about 4 inches by the full length. So of course this piece is going to be stationary, this piece is going to be hinged on as far as the platform goes. So this is the part that'll lift up. This part back here will be stationary, but I'm going to just pocket these areas right here with a little, with a little round cutout, so I can just lift these lids out and they'll just fit in. If you want to pull the mattress back, again, we're just using that futon mattress, so it's pretty lightweight and easy to bend back. You can bend that back, and things that you don't need that often, or whatever can be stored up in these little areas. Another thing that I want to mention is this part will be open for sliding the bunk bed in, the larger platform in. This side toward the front, when you close the bed, it'll be boxed in. So that'll be enclosed. This whole area will be enclosed. And of course, when you lift it up, you have access to the whole thing. But this side I have to leave open. And I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. One, when you slide the bunk bed in, the bunk bed frame on that outer edge will be the support for this portion of the platform, the new lift up platform, and also for ventilation. So I'm going to build this up with just build it up a little bit, maybe even just a 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch. So I've got ventilation, cross ventilation all the way through here in different locations. So maybe every 6 inches or so, I'll put a piece of maybe 1/4 inch plywood, and then there'll be gaps in between. So the storage compartments and these larger areas where the bunk platforms are going to go, that'll all be vented. And of course, this up toward the front we'll have vents cut into it also. I'll probably just do a hole saw and cut some 2-inch holes at various locations just to get some ventilation all throughout. So that's going to take care of any condensation problems that we may have had in the past. We didn't really have many problems with condensation, but it was mainly up in the headboard area. So now that we're running fans up there, we've been doing that for a while, but with ventilation ports and being raised up off of that main deck, we're not going to have any problems with condensation. All right, so here's one of the boxes built. You can see that we've got that 1/4 inch plywood on the bottom, so when it sets on the deck, there's a gap right there in the middle for ventilation going all the way through. So there'll be this one up front and then another one toward the back on both sides. All right, so I got both boxes built here for the one side anyway. I just wanted to show you how lightweight these are. So 4 pounds is what these two boxes weigh combined. So just a very simple build. I'm not doing anything special, no dovetail joints or anything. I'm just gluing and nailing everything together, and then on the bottom that 1/4 inch plywood's all stapled and glued. So very simple construction, but plenty strong, and it's going to give me a lot of extra storage space under there. All right, and the two smaller boxes, these are two separate boxes here for the other side. And the weight on those is about 3 pounds. And there's the other two. All right, so I'm marking out the center of these. This is going to be the center supports. I've got one already glued and nailed up there. So what I'm doing is I'm just marking the center, and then I'll draw a line. That way, when I go to, staple them down, glue them and staple them down, I've got a line to follow. So on all of these, I'm putting down a pretty healthy dose of glue and spreading it out with my finger, and then I'll let that dry for just a little bit, like maybe, 5 or 10 minutes. And then I'll go along and put another bead of glue all the way along it. And that just helps with the soak up. This Philippine mahogany plywood soaks up glue pretty good. So I put some on there and let that kind of soak in, and then I've got a good, good base to put the final bead of glue on. then of course I'm, you know, stapling along the line there. All right, so there's all the pieces, all the little boxes. There's the two separate ones, the two smaller separate ones, the two larger storage boxes, and then of course the two platforms that I'll hinge. All right, here's the two platforms together on the scale, and I don't know if you can see that or not. It's 26 pounds. 26 pounds. Well, 25 pounds. So that means over the mattress that was in the truck camper before, with all this stuff installed and the new futon mattress, which weighs 14 pounds, I'm going to be saving 15 pounds. So by doing all of this, 15 pounds lighter. So I'm really happy about that. And it, you know, gives me extra storage for, you know, putting stuff that we already always take in the camper. You know, maybe we'll put towels and you know, other little things up in that you know, these small cubbies. So that that should work pretty well, and you know, get rid of some of the clutter that's in some of the other areas in the truck camper. Okay, so cool. I'll let this stuff dry. Probably give it maybe 2 or 3 hours for that wood glue to dry, and then I can dry fit everything in the truck camper, make sure everything is fit well and is going to work, and then I can start you know, adhesive strip that stuff down to the deck and get everything installed for a final look. One other thing I forgot about were these headboard pieces that I had up under the Cabover window. That was our headboard, you know, kind of at a slope. These two pieces, if I put them on the scale, they weigh about 9 pounds. And I'm replacing them with two of the thinner pieces. This is that 3/16 inch Philippine mahogany ply, and as you can see, that's about 3 pounds. So, you know, that's going to save me another 6 pounds or so. I'm happy about that. I'm not going to cover this stuff in vinyl, the Tolex. I'm going to leave it just natural wood. It's not really going to be seen, and if everything stays dry, if we get rid of that condensation issue, then we shouldn't have any problem at all with this. And you know, this stuff's cheap enough and easy enough to get a hold of. If I need to replace it, I can do that. I ended up buying a whole bunch of these command strips. I thought about using this 3M stuff, and this is really good tape. It's almost too good for the situation that I'm in with, you know, wanting to temporarily mount that, you know, that bed platform. I just think that having the ability to release it easily would probably be better. So I went ahead and just bought some command strips, and we'll try those out. If it doesn't work, if they, you know, if they loosen up over time, I can use the other stuff or come up with a, you know, a different way to adhere that to the existing deck. I also purchased a few sheets of these little felt tabs, so I can, you know, line these out on the cubby when I raise and lower the platform. It doesn't make a huge sound when I go to close it again, so should help cushion some of that. All right, so here's the dry fit. There's the cross ventilation on the front and the rear portion. So good ventilation all the way through on the little cubbies. I'll go ahead and bring in my platform, get that set. All right, there's the dry fit of the platform. All of our storage under there. Everything's square and everything lines up real well. I don't have the hinge in, of course, but that's how it'll lift. Just like that. Access to the cubbies and access to, you know, pull this stuff out. And here is why I had to, you know, bring these out enough to clear this bulkhead. You know, it goes all the way around, so it's on this side as well. And I just needed to make sure that I brought it out far enough to where, you know, that it would clear. So when you lift up the top, you've got access to the cubby. The cubby's up front, you know, these front ones. The rear ones, I'm going to cut out little access panels up there toward the front. I'll just cut out little access panels that can lift out. And those panels that I put up there in the front under the window are kind of like kick plates. So that's just the 3/16 inch plywood. But you know, when I'm running this, you know, this bunk bed platform down underneath into the storage, I don't want to have to worry about damaging that front area. So I just put those kick plates in just to kind of protect it a little bit. Once the mattress is in, you're not going to be able to see any of that. So I wasn't too worried about, you know, finishing that off or anything. So on this side, I'm going to put a face plate going all the way across here. Because the inner bunk here, the one that's up against the window back there, it's only 17 inches wide and 70 inches long, so it'll fit right down in there without protruding. So this from here over to here can have a covered plate, and that'll help support this bed top a little bit. This one has to stay open because when the bunk, this top bunk here is 80 inches long, and when it's all the way underneath, it's going to come out to about here, which I'm not worried about, you know, as far as aesthetics go, as just as long as we can get it out of the way when we want to use the dinette and things like that. So the dry fit looks good. I'm really happy with it. I think I'm going to take these platforms back in and round over the corners here on this front edge, and you know, just sand down these edges a little bit. I'll do it on the same side. I'll get this front piece put on, and of course, when I lift up the top, I'll have to put the you know, the pieces, the braces that'll prop up this top when we want to access stuff. So those will mount to the inside of these cubbies, one on each side, so it'll hold up that mattress good. And yeah, I think that's where I'll stop for today. On the next video, of course, I'll show the final installation and the finished product, so make sure you catch that one. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. That way you know when the next videos are released. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll try to get any questions answered as soon as I can. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Later.